It's November, which means that it's time for NaNoWriMo. NaNoWriMo is a huge event for writers, but last year I decided to no longer participate in NaNoWriMo. Want to know why? Stick around to find out why I'm boycotting and what I'm planning to do to keep up my writing momentum. Last year was my first year completing the NaNoWriMo 50,000 word challenge, and I did utilize the website at the start of November. I thought at the time that it was a great website to find other writers who are in their same writing journey as I was. I also really enjoyed the interface of the word count tracking. However, before the month was even up, I decided to no longer use the official website for my challenge. And here's why I left and why I don't plan on ever going back. If you were around last year, I'm sure there were plenty of videos talking about the NaNoWriMo controversy of 2023. But when I was researching for this video, I actually found out that the issue was a lot bigger than I thought it was at the time. And what it boiled down to is that the staff really came under fire for their lack of support of the platform. A lot of really predatory practices that include, but are not limited to, hostility and inaction after several minors brought forth predatory behavior from one of the moderators on the forums. The moderators took almost 2 months to remove the accused moderator from the youth platform, and they did so very quietly. And then it took over 5 months for them to delete this moderator's ID. And that was only because this moderator threatened a business deal. And the kids who brought forth these allegations from the young writer programs were bullied into silence by other moderators. This also brought forth a lot of issues with the fact that apparently a lot of local leaders for NaNoWriMo were not background checked. And then the organizers that did want to bring forth these problematic other organizers who reported them to NaNoWriMo were silenced or just blatantly ignored. And this resulted in at least one participant having an event-related assault, which even one is too many. Mix that with the fact that they were promoting vanity presses, which are known to be predatory to indie writers. I mean, even the rumor of predatory behavior going on the forums was enough for me to be like, NaNoWriMo, since this, has addressed the majority of these issues and did make some systemic changes to their organization. They now conduct background checks for all directors, employees, and volunteers, which honestly is just good business practice. They also provided training for employees, directors, and volunteers on online predatory behavior. They reviewed and updated their policies on community safety. They stopped hosting open all-ages social spaces, and a wide breadth of other steps to fix a lot of the internal systemic problems in this area. That may have been enough for me to go back to the platform. But then this year they released their article in support of AI. Now, the purpose of this video is not to debate what the place of AI in the writing process is, what is ethical, what is not ethical. That is not the debate that I want to have in this video. We're also not going to talk about whether denying the use of AI is ableist or elitist. The main issue that I have with the article that NaNoWriMo posted is that the majority of the writing community does say that it is wrong to have AI write your story for you. Now, a lot of people say that this article was written because they recently accepted sponsorship from Pro Writing Aid. And I'm just going to be completely transparent with you guys. I have Pro Writing Aid, and you can probably put a lot of criticism towards this platform. The reason why I chose it, just so you guys have context in this, is while it did have a pretty significant upfront cost, I actually got mine on a 50% discount. And when I weighed out the long-term cost of getting something like Pro Writing Aid with a lifetime membership or something like Office 365 where I had to pay on a subscription base, in the long term, Pro Writing Aid was the best financial decision for me. I do want to make it clear that I do not use the generative AI features on Pro Writing Aid, which are called Sparks. But I do find the writing analysis tools to be really helpful in my editing process. ProWriting8 is a good cloud-based storage system for me, aside from a good editing tool for me, that is a bit more secure than Google Docs. So I just wanted to be transparent with you guys and let you know that yes, I have ProWriting8 and I do use it, though I do not use the generative AI features. Now, because of this backlash and the scandals that have happened over the previous years, a lot of people, not just myself, are moving away from NaNoWriMo. And I wanted to share with you guys some of the other opportunities if you want to move away from NaNoWriMo as a platform. So I have 3 options today for you, so you can kind of pick what will work best for you. Of course, the easiest option is just do the challenge on your own. You do not need an official platform to write 50,000 words in 1 month. And I didn't have any problem finishing my challenge last year after I left the website. If you tend to not like to interact with strangers online, this might also be the best option for you. And maybe you don't want to write 50,000 words in 1 month. It's a lot, but you could set your own goals that will work with your work-life balance. The second opportunity that I found when I was researching comes from the Heart Breathing's channel, who is starting the Rough Draft Challenge. So while they are doing this challenge this November, Sarah did mention that the challenge would no longer be tied strictly to November and that they may do it a couple times throughout the year. If you officially sign up for the challenge, you will get a copy of the free planning workbook, which I did use last year and found some of the features very helpful. What I also really liked about how Sarah's setting up the Rough Draft Challenge is this idea of like different levels that you could do. So while there aren't official names for the levels yet, there are essentially going to be 4 levels of this challenge. The first level will be to write 10,000 words. The second level will be to write 25,000 words. The third level will be to write 50,000 words. And the fourth level, which is like the extreme level, will be to write 100,000 words. I also like that it's not strictly tiered towards novels. Sarah made it very clear that the story format could be whatever format of your choosing. And I also liked the idea that if you sign up for a little bit of a stretch goal for yourself, like say you sign up for the 50, but you only write maybe 30,000 words, you'll still get the rewards for completing the 10,000 and the 25,000 point challenge. Now, the video describing the challenge did not go into what happens if you sign up for a lower tier and exceed that to one of the other tiers. So that's something that I still have a question on, and I'll see if I can find an answer to it at another point. Now, Heart Breathings has always been a really good like indie author community. So there is a Facebook group, a Discord group, and a lot of the writers in the group host daily sprints on YouTube channels throughout November, which is actually how I finished my novel. I participated in a lot of those sprints last year. And Sarah mentioned that there is a plan to launch a website to help you track your word count. The second NaNoWriMo replacement I found, I'm actually also really excited about, and that is the order of the written word. And similar to the Rough Draft Challenge, this is not just dedicated to writers, but also poets and other storytellers. They're calling the October month their crafting grounds, where the event really starts to kick off, which of course is your time to brainstorm and think of ideas and outline. And then in November, they're doing 3 separate challenges that you can pick from. There's the Novelist's Initiation, which is to write 30,000 words on a work in progress. And I really liked that it's a slightly lower word count because honestly, now that I've been writing fairly regularly, 1,000 words per day is pretty easy for me to hit, but it's not so easy that it's not a challenge without feeling overwhelming like NaNoWriMo did for me. I mean, last year, all I did was work, eat, sleep, and write. That was it. The bonus task for the Novelist Initiation is to finish your first draft, which of course has to have at least 30,000 words. And the reward was one of the things that really drew me to this challenge, and I think would draw other aspiring writers to this challenge as well. If you finish your first draft, then the Stygian Society will consider your story for publication for 2025. The second challenge you could do is the Trial of Verses and Vignettes. and that is to finish 15 poems or 8 short stories that are between 1 and 10,000 words each. And if you complete a final draft of these, they will also be considered for publication. And the third challenge you could do is the refinement ritual, which is basically just to keep editing your work. And if you finish your final draft during the challenge, then you will also be considered for publication. And just so you know, I did do some research on the Stygian Society as a press. They are a legitimate small press, not a vanity press. I also really like that they're going to be running what they call scroll work sessions, which are basically writing sprints. They are running the event this year on Discord, but they do plan to launch an official website next year. After researching all these options, what am I going to be doing this month? Or rather, I guess I should say what I am doing this month, because by the time this video goes up, it will already be November. I think I'm going to do the 10,000 word challenge through Heart Breathings. And honestly, I wasn't really planning on doing any kind of challenge this November. I do have several short stories that I kind of want to just knock out. So I liked the lower word count goal of this challenge. What am I going to do next November? I think that I'll participate in the order of the written word, and then if Heart Breathings runs other challenges throughout the year, I'll participate in the rough draft challenges at those times. What have you been doing this month to work on your writing goals? Let me know in the comments. If you just want to let me know that you're here, leave me a notebook emoji. If you're curious about what I learned after finishing my first 50,000 word story, watch this next. Let's see what stories tomorrow brings.